back to my channel. I had somebody last night say they wanted to see how I mix stuff for my Fiona flowers. So, and I did learn from the best. I learned from Fiona herself, except I have to use the American products. So first thing I'm going to do, well, I'm going to explain this to you. This is Michael's CraftSmart glue. It was an empty jug, and I got markings on the back. One is 60 ounces and one is 40 ounces. And what you do is you're mixing it 60% glue, 40% water. Now you don't have to mix this much up. You can do 6 ounces of glue and 4 ounces of water. That's still a 60-40. You can scale it up or scale it down, whichever way you want to. I go through a lot of it, so I do it. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is mix the base coat. This is the container I'm going to mix it in. It's kind of hard for you to see. Let me see if that, well, it's kind of hard for you to see the readout. Let me see. Yeah, I'm sorry that it's hard for you to see the readout. So I will tell you how much I'm putting in of each, because this container is so big. Okay, I'm zeroing it out, and this is a 32-ounce container. You never want to mix it as high as the you know, that it holds the whole 32 ounces. So I'm going to mix 24 ounces. What I'm going to put in is, let me see, 24 ounces divided by 4 is 6. So I'm going to put in 6 ounces of paint and then 18 ounces of the pouring medium and mix that together. So let me put this in, and this is going to, this video is kind of like twofold. It's alive but unlisted on YouTube because I'm testing out my new internet connection that I got. Okay, that's 4.5. Okay, go up to 6. 5.5, 5.6, 5.8. Go in small drops because I'm getting close. If you go a little over or a little under, it's not going to matter, but you try to get it as close as you can. That is 6.045. I know. That sounds weird. Now, mine's been sitting, my glue's been sitting around for a while with the water, so I'm shaking it just to mix it up, okay? Come on. I forget to wipe the threads off and the lid off of this bottle after I'm done using it, and what happens is I have almost glued the lid shut. So when you're using these with glue, make sure, okay, that is a little over 6. Now I'm going to take it up to 24 with the pouring medium. And like I said, this pouring medium is 60% glue, 40% water, and I'm adding 18 ounces, so I'm taking it up to 24 ounces, which gives me plenty of room to stir it together and to add water. Okay. Oops. Okay, I see what it did. Okay, it zeroes out. It zeroes out at 12, so let me use the bigger scale. I should have known that. I should have known that. So that was right about 14, 15, 16. Let me just, yeah, 16. So let me add another 8 ounces, because I'm pretty sure that's where I stopped at. This little scale doesn't like to weigh the heavy stuff, meaning it doesn't calculate over. Okay, that is close enough to tell you the truth. Sorry about that. I forgot that the scale would do that. Okay, so I'm wiping off the threads, and I'm also going to leave this for right now over the top so it doesn't dry out. Okay, now I'm not going to need that big scale for the cups. Okay, now I am going to mix this up. It takes a lot of stirring, but you got to keep stirring. And then I'll bring the scale back so I can show you how much water I'm adding. But usually I eyeball the water. I start with these big amounts. I start with an ounce of water, mix it, see if it would take another ounce. What you're looking for is when you lift your stick up out of the paint and you let the paint drizzle off of it, you're looking for it to be not leaving any mound. The base coat for a Fiona flower is pretty thin, okay? Okay, let me see. Okay, see how thick that is? Now that'd be perfect to pour with for the Fiona flower, but we're not going to do that with this. So now I'm going to turn off that scale, which just turned itself off, and I'm going to put this on, zero it out, and let it, come on, come on. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to add 2 ounces of water, only because I know that this amount probably will take 2 ounces. If you mix a smaller amount, start by adding an ounce and then switch to half ounces or even less if you want to do little squirts. And you don't have to be exact with the measurements because basically you're going to be eyeballing it. That was right around 2 ounces of water. Now this is going to take a lot of mixing because you want to get the water all incorporated in there. And you'll know, I'm trying to look at it, well, you'll know when the water's all mixed in because before it's all mixed in, you got little bubbles. You'll see little tiny bubbles right around the top edge of the mixture next to the container. You want to mix until those bubbles are gone, okay? That way you know it's all mixed in. I still see bubbles. Still see bubbles. I don't know how long of a video this is going to be. It's testing my new hardwire connection that I rigged up to my laptop, which is the only place I have my my OBS at and a good camera. So I'm getting tired of using my phone. I really am. Okay, let me see. Okay, it's still leaving a slight mound. So, let me see. Let me put another ounce in there, zero it out with that on there, and add another ounce. There we go. Roughly. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact because when you mix it in, you'll be able to tell. Okay? And if you add the water a little bit at a time at this point now, you're not going to get it too thin, okay? But if you get it too thin, you can always add a little dollop of paint, but that's going to be hard to mix in. You could always, if you want to add a little bit more paint to thicken it up, you could always pour a little bit of this off into a cup, put some paint in it, mix that together, get it into like a slurry is what Molly's Artistry calls it, and then mix it back into the main container. Okay. That is now 3 ounces in my 24-ounce mixture. it's still leaving a mound. So now I'm going to do just squirts, okay? There's one squirt. I'm thinking that's about less than a ½ ounce, but you don't want to add a lot at a time at this point because it's getting close to it. Your base coat, when you lift your stick up, you don't want to have a mound when it's going back down into when the paint's coming off the stick going down into the container. Never lift your stick when you're doing it. Never lift your stick higher than 1 inch. If you lift it too high, like if I lifted it way up here, well, of course it's not gonna leave a mound because of gravity. See, now I'm getting close to the top. And I still see a couple little bubbles. So let me keep mixing. And I'm just pushing those bubbles down because I'm not sure if that means there's plain water there or what. Okay, let's see. A little bit more water. I want to make sure it's thin because you're going to put it on your canvas. And when you put it on your canvas, you're going to tilt the majority of it off. You're going to get thin base coat, like the paint consistency being thin, but then you're also going to do a thin layer of it, if that makes sense. I will, after I mix the white pearl and 3 colors, I will do a pour with it. Okay, let me, oops, I just dribbled over the side. It could use a little bit more water, and I'm cleaning this up because when I put the lid on, you don't want anything on the threads out here because you'll glue your lid shut. Okay, put some more water in there. I hope I'm explaining it good enough. Once I get the video edited and up, I'll be open to comments, okay? Because like I said, this is a live. I'll cut a little bit out of it, you know, little parts out of it. But it's basically going to be just, you know, dead space that I cut out. So this could be a long video. I don't know yet. Okay, that looks thin enough, and there I go, dripping over the side again. Ah, I am terrible. I drip all over the place. And I know my regular viewers want to type a certain comment right now. TWHS. But I know what you guys are thinking. I know what you're thinking. Okay, now we're going to mix. Oops, I forgot to put the cup on there. You want to zero it out with the cup on there. Ignore this right here. Reason this little scale sitting on this bigger scale is because it's not even on this, so it doesn't give me an accurate. I mean, this is a little, you know, it just doesn't work. It doesn't give me an accurate amount. Okay, I'm gonna mix 1 ounce. Well, no. I'm going to mix a ½ ounce of titanium white, okay, and then I will add to that 1 ounce of Vallejo pearl. And then when I get done with that, well, you know what, I better make more because you have a tendency to use a lot of this. I'm just sitting here picking out the little dried stuff around the cap. Okay, I'm going to do 1 ounce. Okay, and the ounce is 1 part, so I'm going to do 1 part of the titanium white. Come on, there we go. And I go slow because I don't want it to go over. I try not to. So 1 ounce is 1 part. So I'm making 1 part of the titanium white. Now you can scale this down or scale this up. If you did 2 ounces as a part, okay, that's a little over 1 ounce. If you did 2 ounces as 1 part, then you would add 4 ounces of the Vallejo. Now you don't need to shake it, but because there's micas in it, I do tilt it like this. Okay, now that's 1 part, which is a hair over 1 ounce. And now I'm going to bring it up to 3 ounces with the Vallejo. This is what Fiona came up with. She said to add twice as much of the Vallejo Pearl as you do the titanium white. And I recommend that you get the Vallejo Pearl and you get the Amsterdam Titanium White if you don't have Amsterdam Titanium White, and you only use those 2 for the pearl. Because I cannot guarantee, there we go, 3 ounces. Okay. Now, I'm going to take a stick. Yes, Linda, a stick. Sorry. That's a joke between my friend and I. Okay, and you mix all that together. Okay. Now, there's 3 ounces in here. 1 ounce being 1 part. So what I'm going to now do is I'm now going to zero it out, because the stick adds a little bit. And I'm going to add 4 ounces of pouring medium. So that's 1 part paint, 2 parts Vallejo Pearl, and 4 parts pouring medium. Come on, don't take forever. Now this might be a little bit thinner than the paints. I'll show you that when I get to the paints. To get them all the same consistency, you can either thin down your paints a little bit with water, or you can thicken up your paints with a dollop of glue. Okay, this is now the 4 ounces of pouring medium. Okay, and 2 ounces of Vallejo Pearl and 1 ounce of Amsterdam Titanium White. Doesn't have to be the expert series, but for the Fiona flowers, you've got to go with the good stuff, the Amsterdam Titanium White. I know it's more expensive, but you can get by with a 4 ounce tube, which is for this. Okay, let me see. Okay, now it looks a little off-white, and it's leaving a slight mound, but not a big mound. But that's okay, because now we're going to mix a color. And I'm going to mix my grayish blue. I got grayish blue, Prussian blue, and a gold. And the gold, being a little bit thinner than the other paints, is going to be a true test as to what we should do. Now I'm only going to mix up 4 ounces in here. So I'm going to zero this out. And this is a 5 ounce cup, and I'm going to put 1 ounce of paint in there. And it's getting down to the bottom is why I didn't try turning it over. Okay, I'll scrape it off. There we go. Uh, 0.8 of an ounce, so let me add just a hair bit more. Come on. Up. Little bit more. Little bit more. Okay, little bit more. There we go. That is just a little over an ounce. Now I'm going to put my stick in there, and I'm going to zero it out to do the pouring medium. So that was 1 ounce. You're mixing this 3 parts to 1 part, so that was 1 ounce. So now I'm going to put 3 ounces of the pouring medium in there. Okay, come on, carefully, carefully. Close enough. I'm afraid to try to pour more. So now you're going to mix. It was just a little under 3 ounces of pouring medium, but you know, it doesn't have to be to the 0.001. You know, it, because that's such a minor amount. Because if it's too thin, you can add a little bit more paint, and if it's too thick, you can add water. But okay, I'm trying to get all the paint off of my stick and get this paint off of the top up here. There we go. Oh, this is not a stick. This is actually, it's called a cosmetic paddle, okay? And I think they're sold to put face masks on, you know, like the creamy stuff you would take out of a container. This would help put it on better, but they work really good. Okay, see, that's a little bit thicker than my pearl, but we'll compare them all when I get to it. Now I'm going to put 1 ounce of the DecoArt Americana Decor Metallics, and this is the what does it say on here? This is 24 karat gold. Now it's been sitting, so you want to of course mix it, okay, because there is micas that might settle at the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to do 1 ounce of this. Come on, drip off the stick. There we go. And then I'm going to put 3 ounces of pouring medium in there to make it 1 part paint, 3 parts pouring medium. See, I know some people get confused when they hear people talking about parts, but if you just make 1 part a certain measurement, a certain weight, like a 1/2 ounce or an ounce, and then you would put 1 ounce. If it says 1 part, you would put 1 ounce. If it says 2 parts, you would put 2 ounces. And this is about the end of this jar. Let's see. Takes it a little over, but that's okay. And that is about the end of the jar. Okay, now I'm going to, oh, it's a little, well, it's 1.102. That's okay. I'm going to zero it out and add 3 ounces of pouring medium and mix it all together. Because I'm taping this live but unlisted, I can't add music during the dead part, so I apologize for that too. Okay, now we're going to mix this all together. Let me get my paint off of here. Paint will stick to these paddles, so I try to scrape off whatever pure paint I have on the paddle. Okay, there we go. Now it's mixing. There's a lot of stirring involved. And, oh, this has been going great. Well, guess what? Tuesday night, this will go up before Tuesday, but Tuesday night I'm going to do some more Fiona flowers, but I'm going to go live with my camera, which means I get all my little bells and whistles like my super chat superstar little video that I made just for you viewers of awesomeness. Okay, that's mixed. You might see a little bit of white on the side, but I wouldn't worry about scraping it all down because it's not really a lot of the glue. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's the gold. I got the white pearl, the gold. All I gotta do now is mix the Prussian blue, and then I'm gonna compare the three consistencies between, well, the 4 consistencies. This should be the same as the grayish blue because they're both Amsterdam. Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. Almost to 1 dollop. Tiny dollop. Okay, that's at 0.991. I'm not going to push it, make it go over. Okay, now I'm going to take it up to 4 ounces with the pouring medium. Because I didn't take the scale off and I didn't have a stick in it. So I know that 4 ounces, taking it up to 4 is what, 3 parts pouring medium, 1 part paint. Come on. Little dollop more. That's close enough. That's more than close enough. But, I mean, it doesn't have to be exact, okay? Now, let's mix this. And this is all in real time, unless I take the whole thing down and edit it on my computer and then re-upload it, which I could do that too. Because normally when I'm live, I don't record at the same time. So this is going up as an unlisted live. But I got so tired of the problems I was having with my Wi-Fi on this laptop and my OBS. I went to the OBS website and read up, and I now have, thanks to an adapter I bought, I now have, there we go. Okay, I now have a hardwired connection on a laptop that never had one of those Ethernet connections. Okay, this one, I might be thinning down these two because it all depends on how they look. This one I could probably thin down a little bit more. Let me see how this looks. Now, this could be thin too, because this is pretty much, the consistency of the pearl is pretty good. Let me move my bottles out of the way because I will be putting my my turntable up here with the mat. Links to everything I'm using are down below the video. Okay, that much I can help you with too. Okay, there's my lid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some water to the gold, the blue, and the grayish blue. Prussian blue and grayish blue is the colors I'm using. Okay, let me put this right here. Well, over here because move these sticks. Okay, because this is my base coat. Okay, there's my cup. Okay, so water right in front of me. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. Something just fell off the back of my table. I need to make a railing for the back of this table, because when I put a pad over it to keep the drips from getting on the wall, something always falls off the back. And then I got to get under the table, move everything out to get what fell. Let me tell you something. It wasn't fun one day. I knocked the cup of my caps back there, and they went everywhere. And my red caps I bought off of AliExpress a long time ago, they went everywhere. Okay. Now, a little bit more water, because I want it to be thin to where it uses a mound or leaves a mound, but not a big mound. So that's what I'm aiming for on all three of these. And you see, it's barely even a whole teaspoon of water. It could be it could be closer to a half tablespoon. Come to think of it, I think there's, oh, I can't remember my cooking measurements, but I thought there was 4 or 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So that was right around a teaspoon, or maybe a little over, so that could be a half a tablespoon I just put in. And that looks better. That looks better. Okay, now I just got to do these two. Let me see. Yeah, this one needs more water, I think, than the other one. I'm not sure. So that was about a tablespoon. I mean, I never measure when I'm adding the water to thin paints. I just do big squeezes or little squeezes on this bottle. This bottle is what you use for watering plants. And you can see it's well loved. Doesn't matter about the paint outside because it doesn't get in the water. Okay, mix it up a little bit better. Okay, that looks about the same consistency as that. Now, let me see. This could use a hair of water. You see how, well, I don't know if you could see that or not, because this is really, really dark. But that was less than a half a teaspoon, or a teaspoon. That was a little tiny squirt with the bottle. And if you get a bottle like this, you get used to it. Just like if you're using a bottled water you bought from the store, you get used to it. How much to put in by just the way you squeeze it or turn it up or pour it in. You get used to it. It all comes with practice. Okay, been doing this now. Well, technically, I started with acrylic pouring before I started my channel with resin. So I've been doing acrylic pouring for almost 6 years now. But I started my channel with resin art. Some of you have been with me since resin art. And, okay, there is my turntable, and well, it's got a little bit of paint on it, but that's okay. And my shower cap, duh. Okay, this part's going to be edited out probably. There it is, right there. Damn it. Okay, first you're going to put your base coat down. Now, I don't normally like to pour right out of, well, I can use a cup. Sometimes I use a cup as a ladle in there because I don't want to have the stuff dripping over the edge. So let me see. Yeah, this is hard for you to see, so let me put it over here. Yeah, okay. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to coat the canvas. It's still going over the edge. And then you're going to try, and I try to do this as best I can, you're going to tilt it to cover it. And of course you're going to need to get rid of some of it. So you want to try to get it back into the container. Yeah, you should be able to see that. So I'm going to go off that edge. Okay. Then I'm going to go off that edge. Then I'm going to turn it and go off that edge. And it should run very, very fast. That's what you want. That tells you it's thin enough. Now, I'm going to go off this edge. Yes, I know I got a whole bunch on the mat, but that's why I use these silicone mats, which the link is down below. I'm going to add it to my products I use all the time, because I do so many Fiona flowers. So you do a super tilt like this, a real hard tilt, and you let the remainder of the paint run off. Because I tape my backs and put press and seal on it, I'm not too worried about the paint on the mat that might get on the back of the canvas, because it's all covered, every little square inch of it. And since I'm going to put this up as a recorded one, I tell you what, I'm going to add the link right up here to my video that shows you how I cover the backs. Okay, let me torch to make sure I have no air bubbles. Okay, now on these small canvases I can pretty much eyeball where it goes. May not look at it like it's in the center to you because my camera's just a little off angle. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now we're going to start pouring. And I'm not used to pouring with cups, I'll tell you that right now. So this is the Prussian blue I mixed. You want to pour right in the middle. Okay. And the very, very first color you put on, you want to keep pouring evenly until you see it come all the way down. Okay. And you try your hardest not to drip. Yeah, better said than done, huh? I think I'm just going to do this as a simple dark blue, light blue, white, and gold, and then go back to the dark blue. I'm not going to do anything really fancy with this one. And excuse that forgot to turn my my phone off. Now, because I just mixed all these, I'm not stirring them as I pick them up because they haven't been sitting that long. Okay, I'm gonna do some gold. Now your consecutive colors, after your first one, your consecutive colors, you try to stop. Oh, see, I didn't get it quite even over here. You try to get it stop when it starts to get halfway down. No, this is going to be the true test. Pouring out of this big cup. Ha! I'm so used to bottles. Bottles are just so much easier, but I didn't want to put these into bottles. Okay, that's my white. Now I'm going to go back to my Prussian blue. I think I got more gold in there than anything, but that's okay. That's okay. See, halfway down, you stop. It'll keep going, and the next color will push it down even more. So if you're pouring it right in the middle like you should be. Not saying I've ever not poured right in the middle, but hey, we all make mistakes. Okay, there we go. You stop when it's halfway down. Now we do the gold. And I'm going to try not to put as much gold on it as I did before. I still think my Vallejo is a little bit thinner than the others. I can see how the Prussian blue is sitting in the Vallejo right there. Okay, so I'm going to put some more Vallejo down. I think I'm going to do one more round of colors for these petals, which are the outer petals. I got a napkin in my hand to wipe my finger off when I catch the drip on the cups, so I don't accidentally intermingle the colors. Okay, let me put some of the blue down and try to get more of the blue on there. There we go. Well, just a little bit more of the blue. It looks like it's sinking because the Vallejo Pearl is just a little bit thinner. I probably should have added a dollop of glue to that cup, but I don't know where what do I say? Where my unmixed glue is at the moment. But I do have a couple gallons of unmixed glue, but I just mixed up like 3 gallons of pouring medium the other day, so I have no idea where. There we go. There we go. Okay, now some white on top of that, and then I'm going to blow it out, pull the petals, with my skewer through the petals, and then turn the cup. Okay. Okay. Now you can use anything, really. I just use a silicone milkshake straw. You want to blow all of the paint down out of there. Then you take your skewer, and I just noticed that this is off center on the thing, and then you pull out on the first set of petals. And you just run your skewer through it. Have a napkin handy to wipe it off, or wipe it on your glove, but then you start getting paint all over your glove, and I try not to do that too much. Okay, now you see where the paint came down. You're going to turn the cup to match those paint lines to the middle between the petals. So now my new petals are going to come right here, overlapping where 2 petals where the two first petals meet, that's where they're going to overlap. Okay, and I'm only going to do one round of color, I think, because this is not a very big canvas. It's a 10 by 10. It's just one of the Super Value canvases from Michaels. And there we go. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to put my grayish blue on there. These colors look so good together. I'm hoping the gold don't take over. I'm not sure if it will or not. We'll find out together when I do the napkin. Okay, there we go. Wipe. Oops, ended up getting some blue on there. Oh well. Oh well. I just wiped it off with my thumb. Okay, there we go. That's another reason why I like bottles, because I don't have that last little bit running down the side of the cup. Okay, got that. Now I'm going to add the pearl. I kind of lost the grayish blue just a little bit. I don't know where it went, but I'm not going to add any more. Okay, just a little bit of the pearl. Okay, now I do this part a little different than I did the first one. You blow it out, but then you remove the cup. Okay, you remove the cup. Now you're going to do the skewer. And let me get a clean piece of napkin to wipe it on, because that one is soaked. Okay, now you're going to draw from in between the two petals. You're going to go straight through the petal you just made, the second set, and go all the way to the center. And don't worry if it doesn't look that great right now in the center, because we do fix that with our finger before we put the napkin down. Because Fiona always says, if you don't fix it before the napkin, it's going to be hard to fix after. Okay, and the last one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the tip of my finger to dab up some of this white paint so the other paint goes in. I know that, I think it's suction, I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. There we go. That center looks pretty good. Okay, now, forgot to get a napkin. So let me wipe my hands off. I'm going to keep my gloves on. And let me get a napkin. Now the links to all these napkins I use are down below. I use the 13 by 13 on 10 by 10s or 8 by 8s. Because these flowers always look best on a square canvas, okay? And before, I didn't get to show this last night, before I spray it, what I do is I fold this back, okay, and then separate them. I kind of fold them like this so they stay apart, and then that way when I spray the napkin, and I can't spray it on camera, let me see. See, you fold it over, okay, and then you fold this one back so they're both going the opposite direction, so that way it'll be easier to find the corner. When I spray the napkin, I have a tendency to spray it just around the middle, okay, because It's going to pick up the other paint, but you have no choice about that. And these linen napkins, both of them, the 13, these are 13 by 13s, and the other ones, oh, sorry, there went my phone again. Oops, and I almost forgot. And I was doing this last night too. I almost forgot to put the cake break on. Where is it? Okay. I'm having a hard time finding my cake. There it is. There it is. Okay. There we go. Of course, I got paint on my arm doing that. Okay. Now that center seam where the fold is at, that goes right in the middle of your flower, okay? Then you let it fall gently, and then you pull it apart. See, now you can see why it was so important to fold those corners back. Very, very gently. Tap it down to get rid of any air bubbles. Okay, and now you don't want to hold these corners too high. I usually hold it to where it barely uncovers the paint that's down there. And you want to fold these four corners up. Then what I do is I put my fingers in there. I separate it. I look for the center because there is a fold mark right there. And I bring the center up, okay? And then you do that on all four of them. Because see, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get a flat edge right there when you bring it up. This last one's always hard to open. Okay, I got a little bit of a squiggle snake in there is what I call them, you know, where the paint dripped. And I also had a hard time. Okay, so first I'm going to kind of fix this a little bit. Okay. So I don't see a little squiggle snake in there. That's what I call those funky looking little drips. Okay, now I'm going to add some more base coat up around the edge where the napkin picked it up. Now, it's hard for you to see it on camera, but there is a definite circle right here of where there's paint and then no paint. So when you're putting this base coat on, you want to get as close as you can to that little circle right there. And then we're going to even smooth it up closer with a palette knife. Okay, there we go, there we go, there we go. And this is definitely not centered. That's okay. Okay, now what I'm going to do is first I'm going to clean my gloves. I got white paint all over it. Now I'm going to take a small palette knife, the smallest I could find, and I'm going to push the paint up against that right there, and then I'm going to smooth out the rest of it towards the outside. So that way you're putting back enough paint to make it an even layer. And it's okay that, you know, this is the cheap paint. This was the Artist Loft Soft Body paint for the base coat. And it's okay that you waste a little bit, you know. It's inevitable. It's inevitable with this, you know. Because if you don't put enough on, it's not going to work. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to give it a couple of baby spins just to get it to go out a little bit. Because it's pretty much in the center, to me, close enough to the center. Okay, I want it to come this way a little bit, so we use what's called centrifugal force. You unstick it from the suction on the mat, and you get that corner off just a little bit more, and then you give it some more baby spins. And you can see it's traveling towards that corner. The white paint isn't all the way over there, but it's getting there, and it's carrying the paint with it. It's carrying the colored paint with it. I am not going to touch this anymore. I'll tell you why, because it's pretty good the way it is. I want to get a little bit of this paint up on the sides, so I'm just doing this, scooping it up and tapping it. Because I want to make sure my sides are all painted. You can always go back and do this, paint it if it looks like you got any bare canvas. Okay, now let me give it a torch. The torch not only pops the air bubbles, but I think it brings up some more effects. There's no silicone in any of these paints. There's no silicone in the Vallejo Pearl. It's just the reaction between all these together that give it these beautiful little pearls, cells, and lacing. And I call, I'm not going to put my hand over it. I call these right here pearls with a little bit of lacing, okay? So let me bring it up for its close-up and let you guys go. Don't forget, you can leave all the questions you want. If I didn't answer it right or explain it enough, put them down in the comments. I will be checking every hour after I put this video up for comments, because I want to make sure. This video technically is for Roxanne, a friend of mine, Roxanne Sexton, I'm going to have to say. She's one of my viewers, and she had some questions last night, and I told her that I would, I said I would do a private lesson, which I can still do that, Roxanne, if you're watching this. But this is more for Roxanne's benefit, okay? So here she be in all her glory. She's so pretty. Like I said, I absolutely love these effects right here. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Give it a thumbs up if you learned anything. Leave all your questions down in the comments, and I will answer all of them within a day. So all I can say is I'm going to let you guys go. I don't know what day this is going up, but remember, I go live every Tuesday and every Saturday, except starting on the 12th, I got my 12 days of pouring. It's not really Christmas related. It's just 12 lives in a row leading up to December 24th. But you'll see them posted. You'll see an announcement in the community tab later before they start, with hopefully a link to all of them. And I go live every Tuesday and Saturday. On Saturdays, I am the second half of the Moose and Crazy show. Moose comes on at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I'm the crazy one. I come on at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then throughout the week, we've got other channels that I'm associated with, that I'm friends with, that go live or put up videos. And they should be, most of them are underneath my Fluid Art Friends link on my homepage. So go check that out for the other channels that I deal with. And all I can say is, Bentley, if you're watching, get ready. Bye for now. Love you, Bentley.